So I am out today because Amazon is out of stock of the book carousels that most people use for medical coding, because it can have your CPT book on one side and the ICD-10 on the other, and it rotates. And I think I might have figured out a way to make it now from things from the Dollar Tree. So first, before I even get there, I am at Dunkin' Donuts because I need to beverage up. That's cute. There's not enough Splenda in this bowl. So I am here at the Dollar Tree. Hopefully they have the stuff that I need so I can make this project happen. If I can find like a Lazy Susan, that would be best. But if not, I have some alternative ideas. I don't have a Lazy Susan, so I'm going with Plan B, which is using pie plates and a bag of marbles. Okay, I think I got everything I need except for some hot glue, which I have at home. So this should ultimately only cost me $5. We'll see if I can get it to work. So the basics is I'm gonna try and take 2 pie plates. I'm gonna have marbles in between them so that they can rotate. And I'm gonna try and glue down one binder and then glue another one in the middle to make that triangular piece and see if it will hold the weight of the CPT and ICD-10-CM books. I don't know, you guys, they're pretty heavy. We'll have to find out. All right, you guys probably didn't feel it, but we just did the time warp. So it's actually a couple of days later now after I bought the stuff, but let me show you what I got. So I couldn't find a Lazy Susan, but there's a way you can make that by taking 2 pie plates and putting marbles underneath, and that's what the marbles are for. And that way you can kind of spin them. Actually, these kind of spin, to be honest with you, kind of okay without the marbles, but supposedly the marbles make it better. So I'm gonna make the spinny part out of this. And the idea now is, so I'm planning on ripping apart this binder and kind of using this as the platform, but I have to figure out a way to kind of get it upwards a little bit. I have some spare hunks of cardboard that might be able to kind of elevate it just a little bit. Otherwise, I could maybe even glue one of the stones like on each side just to get it upwards a little bit. Now this binder I'm going to glue in this way, but I think I'm gonna have to cut it apart and glue it at a wider angle, because I don't think that the books will stay steady just this way. But this is going to be so funny. So let's see what I can do. All right, so I'm going to go and get my glue gun and heat that up, set up my station over here. I'm going to move you guys probably over to the corner and we'll see if I can do this. I've got my supplies. I guess I should plug in my glue gun and start getting that warmed up so I can glue my stuff together. So I guess the first thing I should really put together is these pie plates with the rotating, even though they seem to rotate kind of well on their own. So since I couldn't find a bag of just round marbles, I had one that did have some flat marbles mixed in. You can see them here. So what I think I'm going to do is these ones, I removed them out, and I could probably actually put them in my little terrarium that I have over on the side of my shelf. So this is the pie plates with the marbles in them. I'm honestly not sure the marbles were necessary. It seems to kind of make them a little bit louder to turn. But I guess they do seem to rotate a little bit easier now. So now the one problem I'm really going to have is I'm not quite sure how to remove the binder piece here, or honestly I probably don't need to if I'm going to be gluing the other pieces back on, because this one is going to get deconstructed. I'm going to cut this apart and re-glue it. So I guess that's the next part that I'm going to do. It looks like my glue gun is pretty well heated up and tipped over. Thankfully I put a piece of paper under there so it's not messing up my desk. I feel like I could probably reuse this. Like I could glue the top of this into my closet or something, and then hang things from it, like little, I don't know, plants, succulents maybe. Maybe I could even put it on my shelf up here and like hang some stuff underneath. Waste not, want not. So I'm thinking I have to glue it. First off, this needs to be at an angle, and then I have to glue it. So I should probably get this in the pie plate at the right angle. Because ultimately I need the books to not slide down. So they have to be at a sufficient angle to discourage the books from sliding. But also so that I can still turn the pages. Let's take another look at the Amazon one. What kind of angle are they at? Okay, so I looked at it and it's not a super slopey angle, so I probably only need it to go up maybe like this a little bit. What if I just took some of these flat stones and maybe glued them underneath so that it kind of makes a little bit of a slope? That might be just enough. I'm gonna try it out. I think this might work out. I'm not sure. I hope it does, because I don't want this to be a super fail video, but if it's a fail video, I mean, I don't know, maybe that will actually be more funny than if it was successful. So I've mentioned from the past, I'm in like Eastern Pennsylvania. My last coding job was in Reading, Pennsylvania, and specifically like downtown Reading, Pennsylvania, which is a very impoverished, very crime-ridden type of area. I think they are one of the top, if not the top, non-major city as far as crime ratings go. So you can imagine working downtown in an impoverished area. There was quite a lot of interesting things going on. Our office accommodations were, you know, everyone else kind of thought they were great, but I wouldn't say they were particularly great. There was one day we had a cockroach that was in my associate's light above her, right above her desk, and we could see the shadow of it moving around in her light. There were days where there were homeless patients sleeping nearby, and we had to make multiple calls, or rather my associate had to make multiple calls to security to be like, could you please check up on this person? There was one day where I was going to Dunkin' Donuts to grab a coffee on my lunch break, and I noticed a gentleman, which was like less than half a block away from the courthouse, putting a tourniquet on his arm. But there were some cool stuff. Often there was like produce days and farmers markets, and occasionally they would have like this World War II thing where the old trucks and stuff would go by. So it was interesting. There were also instances, because it was a Catholic, heavily Catholic faithed organization, where they'd be like, well, we don't bill for such and such service because that's God's will and he doesn't want us to bill for that. And as much as I'm sympathetic to that, you know, there are federal regulations. I'm going to actually move this off of here so it's not sliding around while I'm trying to do my gluing. I might need some additional stability down this way, because I can tell that this might sag a little bit. So this is not quite working out the way I was hoping for it to do. Haha, there we go. So it looks like if I put these support pieces in here, then it will kind of stay together a little bit better at the appropriate angle. So the only way I know to kind of get these to stick together is to just glue the hell out of them. You ever watch 5-minute crafts? Like how some of those are just so crazy? Like this is what I feel like I'm doing now. One of those just horrible 5-minute craft videos. This might actually work. I'm gonna be surprised if this actually works. Okay, so next I need to glue in these pieces. My office is a huge mess right now. I'm actually gonna tape this to see if the angle is kind of right before I go ahead and permanently glue it down. Let's take a look. So, not too bad. It feels a little bit unstable. Maybe if I would have more marbles in the bottom. But I think the marbles do add a nice weight to it. I think because of the binders, it does come out a little bit here. You can see it comes out probably more than the nicely designed wooden one does. I guess technically you could probably cut the binders slightly if you wanted to, but I think it's kind of neat for what it is. I could see that my books might slope a little bit just from having them on here this often. So I could see maybe there just being some, over time, just droopage. I probably needed a slightly bigger angle. I think that would have been maybe a little bit more beneficial, but it looks like it's staying in place fairly well. This side actually looks more slopey than the other. It's a little slopey, I think because the marbles, I don't have enough marbles on the bottom. And because the marbles are shifting around, it's making it slope to one side. So maybe if I was just able to get a few more marbles in here, it wouldn't be a little bit wobbly as it is now. It would be a little bit more sturdy. Also, the books are probably lopsided a little. Doesn't help. Ta-da! I can't believe I actually made this out of stuff from the Dollar Tree. I don't know how well it's gonna stay, but it's not too bad for what it is. So here it is, final product. So there you go. This is the budget-friendly book holder. It can be done. Will it hold up? Yeah, well, time will tell. Now, the other thing to consider is because I used these cardboard pieces, you would need something else that you could fill in there. You could probably buy like a ruler or just a thin piece of maybe a dowel rod or something just to help lift up the binders a little bit. Ideally, I think I need more marbles in here to kind of rotate it around a little bit more smoothly, because I think as the marbles shift, it kind of makes it wobble a little bit. But other than that, honestly, this is functioning pretty well. It does go out a little farther than probably needed, so you could essentially, if you had something smaller, maybe use something that comes out only just like 6 inches or so instead of the 12 inches that I have here. It was definitely a fun DIY adventure in medical coding. So how much did this cost me overall? So I have 2 binders, the bag of marbles, the 2 pie plates, and that's it. So it was $5 plus, you know, whatever I had for glue and glue guns and those little pieces of cardboard that I had on there. So probably $5 to $10 you can DIY your own book stand. I'm not sure if I've convinced anyone to kind of try and budget-friendly DIY on your own, but if you do, hit me up and let me know, because I would love to see your projects. And let me know in the comments below if you think that this is a project pro or if this was a bit of a fail. So I will see you guys in the next video, and until then, just keep on coding on.